And but the truth is that we live in a time where people's attention
they want to consume.
span and focus, and that always boils down to the discipline of simple things like reading. Because where there's no reading culture, because reading is time consuming. Just like writing a book. I was listening to Oprah's podcast. I've never listened to it before, but I saw a story on it, something called Theo of Golding or something. It's a book some guy wrote. He's a retired judge, retired lawyer, retired traveling musician and all. So I read a book on Theo of Golding, and it was self-published, only for it to turn out become #1 New York best-selling book. So obviously, she had him on the show, and I was listening to them, and I'm thinking to myself, it's a reading culture that sometimes we don't have here. We don't have a reading culture, and when there's no reading culture, there's always a problem.
Yeah. Look, now we are very much blessed, I would say, to also be in the middle of 3 generations. The generations before us, the millennials, and then the generations, the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha after us, because the Gen Zs are now bringing back nostalgic things like, for instance, they're dropping alcohol. Alcohol sales have dropped like tremendously, right? Churches have been attended, like the numbers have grown a lot more. They have also adopted things like reading again. They've also brought back things like look now, the soccer players and the musicians, they've gone back to wire earphones because of all the, all these conspiracies about headless this, wireless this, they recording your conversations and all those things, right? So they bringing back like the old school way of how things were happening, like in our early 90s and 80s.
Isn't that just life? That life isn't cycle.
Basically, it's a cycle of
the fashion of the 70s always finds its way back. The fashion of the 90s will, and eventually you just find that it's all circles. It's just same thing coming back in slightly different ways. And we call it new because either that generation has never experienced it before, so they're excited about it. So I think it's normal. It's normal. Music will change, but does it really change?
And I also think that with our generation and our parents, right, and the early 90s guys, a lot of things were more digital. And, now it's like everything is so, like that fast internet, computers, and it's a lot of things that are moving way too rapidly fast, right? Whereas we were more, like we were playing outside. We didn't care about video games. It was like 1 or 2 of us who had video games, who were like rich at home and stuff. Whereas they are indoors like full time, no matter how poor or rich you are. Like these kids are,
I think
we had more of a life.
You gotta look at that from the perspective of the capitalist, and I'm not putting some people as bad guys or whatever, but it's just a system. The world operates on system. In fact, what you call the world is a system. The earth is a place, the world is a system. So when you look at the system, the technology, there was a time discoveries and technology was to enhance the quality of life that people live. Now we have technology that is influencing the life that people are living. And there's a huge difference because man is supposed to be at the center of existence. Man is supposed to be the epicenter of life. But now AI and technology on all sides, it's because the average capitalist wants to make profit.
True.
So the way to make profit is to make something more in demand than it should be.
True.
So for example, Wi-Fi is it's almost like having oxygen nowadays.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Wi-Fi, you almost feel like, so I said, hold on.
Yeah.
There was a time Wi-Fi didn't exist.
And that was the time that we grew up.
Yeah. Even everything now that they're making, like your fridge now needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. your TV.
Imagine.
You can't watch TV if you don't have Wi-Fi. So they force you in that way.
And they see, it's not a forcing. I think it's just the ignorance of human beings that we need to understand where we are in. This is not a food chain, but in life chain. The human race needs to understand its role. And the role of the human race is a coordinator, is an influencer in himself, is a leader within that framework.
Yeah.
And if we don't take that space and we let technology come in, and then all of a sudden we become dependent on things that should be dependent on us. So we should have a system in place so that Wi-Fi can help us operate our systems better. We should have systems in place that technology enhances what we are doing, not that technology is the champion of what we are doing. Almost like if it's not there, then we can't function. For example, we used to have people just read books. Then they came with Kindle and the likes, reading pads and stuff like that, which was with the objective of, okay, you know what, technology has moved on. It's easy for you now. So the idea of, you don't have to print so much paper, or you don't have to cut so much trees, whatever appeals to everybody. But then at some point, it goes over and beyond that.
You can share books digitally.
Yes, but then it goes over and beyond that, and it becomes a dependence. And I think that when something that's meant to enhance the quality of life that we already have becomes something that we are dependent on, then there is a problem.
That's a problem.
And I think that the what do you call it now? The technological age we're in is designed not to enhance the quality of life of human beings, but to influence it so much that it affects, disrupts, and almost rearranges how life is supposed to be.
Addiction is also very important.
It drives towards that, and that goes for everything. I believe in that concept of, if you can be addicted to something, it means that thing has a potential to be dangerous. Doesn't matter how good it is.
If you
can be addicted to something, and as a human being, for example, people take morphine, or you take a painkiller, and then you can become dependent. And that's the point of addiction, isn't it? It's the dependency that makes it a problem. In independent of dependence, that thing in itself isn't an issue. But when you become dependent on it, and that's the problem with human beings, we are very quick to become dependent on something.
Yes.
And that dependency is what the capital economy drives itself on. So for example, today people don't buy phones for the purpose of making calls anymore. We buy phones for all the other dependent attributes of phones. Because when phone did what phone was supposed to do, we didn't depend on phones so much.
True.
And look, I'm not against technology, but there is something called the regulator in a human being. But we don't look, I think that is part of the biggest problem of the younger generation. They don't know regulation. They don't know how to regulate because technology makes almost everything available to them. I watched the video of a couple of guys go to China, to Shenzhen or some whatever that place is called, so like a technological hub of the world, and there's computers there, there's robots moving around the street. Shenzhen, and then there is McDonald's. It's drones that bring McDonald's to you, and all of those kind of stuff. Look, it's fascinating, but it for me it begs a question.
And it's funny also, ne? Sorry to cut you there, June. During that time when we were not so dependent on technology, and like you didn't really depend on the phone as much as you receiving a call or you making a call. When a call came in through that landline, you were there. Although we had a life outside of like sitting at home on our phones and but like when you expected a call, you were there. That's crazy that we prioritize also like our time with
because we were more organized.
And some more organized.
We were more organized, and to be honest, this might sound very critical. There was a lot more meaning to life when there was less technology in it. It's just the way it is. It's like having a family. You can have a family that runs on life, normal life, all right? And you can have a family that runs on technology and all sorts of other stuff, all right? And if you look at those two, what you find is that one is sustainable, the other is not sustainable. one remains viable no matter how long it goes. The other needs upgrading all the time. So we need to bring new gadgets in to make it exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Whereas this other one, because it runs on the economy of just life itself,
Yep.
it's self-sufficient. Because life is designed to sustain itself. I'll give you an example. If you take a plant and you put the seed in the ground and it grows, it will bear seed, and you can put that seed back in the ground, and you can create a cycle going on. And that cycle will go on for eternity. As long as time exists, it will carry on because it's a system of life. So it can sustain itself. The problem is when man gets involved and starts to throw too much of technology into something. And it's a reality that there are a lot of people that have lost sight of what technology is supposed to do in the human life. I think a lot of people have become so businessy about it, and it's about making more money. It's about becoming powerful. It's about becoming influential. For example, you have all these companies that make seeds. Now, in the beginning, it was the objective of helping the farmer, correct? Helping the farmer get more yield, disease-resistant crops, and the long list of good things. But every good thing always comes to an end, eh?
They're modifying them.
So then they modify to the point now where there is a push internationally for control of. So now you, as a farmer, if you buy seeds from an engineered or genetically engineered seed from a company, you are not allowed to replant the same seed next season.
Yeah.
My question is, why is that?
Even I saw in America, they're increasing now more fruits and vegetables without seed, like seedless watermelon.
Yeah.
That's becoming
a luxury. Imagine.
It's becoming much more prevalent now. So
you have the same. You have the same in South Africa, for example.
And it's expensive. Oh my word!
Organic is more expensive. Which is the
natural. Organic. Let's not even go into agriculture, guys. Organic is. Everything organic is not organic, and organic is split in two as well. So let's not rather get ourselves all worked up into that. But if you look at, there's a lot of apples that are grown here in the Western Cape that the seeds are not viable. So if you plant the seed, it won't grow. The reason is because the farmer or a group of farmers have spent 10 million rand or maybe more and 10 years to create this perfect apple that's the right size and the right taste and the right shape and the right whatever. Juice. All right. So he doesn't want to lose his investment. So he keeps the seed sterile so that you and I can't buy the apple and throw the seed in the ground. Yes. So believe it or not. So there's a lot of that. And so until they recoup, so it's almost like they patent the thing.
It's like these GMOs, that's what they do.
Yes. So,
what do you have to do to a seed in order for
well, good question. I don't know if I want to know. So one thing I'll say is that the moment nature is replaced with technology,
it's disturbed.
I think we are heading for a disaster, one way or another. And I'm no earth champion or whatever. It's just common sense. The moment we start fiddling with nature, the moment we start fiddling with life, the thing's working fine, but we want to upgrade something that needs no upgrading. It's like your phone's fine, but you need a new one. So you have to convince yourself that your phone is slow, your phone's memory is low, or your phone does not do this or does not do that. Whatever it is that you have to do to convince yourself you need another phone, so you go get yourself another phone. But there's nothing wrong with the one. True. And there's an American saying of, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And I don't think in the world of technology we get that. I think there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of people wanting new stuff because we have now raised a bunch of people. Think about it this way. In 1900, for example, how many things did we have technology-wise? In fact, by 1900, there was almost nothing. There was cars, they were still in the very elementary stage. There were no planes, there was no helicopters, there was none of those things. And in 1 century, the world has advanced in 1 century, technologically speaking. It is ridiculous, the amount of mileage we've gained in a century. Yeah. The problem with that is that then we are now thirsty for new discovery. So everybody's out there trying to make the next discovery, create the next thing, do this one, do that. And as much as a portion of what is created adds value to life, I think that it actually interrupts life more than it enhances it.
Yeah.
I think, for example, during COVID, a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages failed during COVID. Why? They failed because people were forced to sit at home and stare each other in the face.
Stare each other, yeah.
And that's because all the cracks in your relationship
To actually
that
get
you've
to
used,
know each other.
work and everything else. I'm so busy and too busy to talk about that now. Now they stare each other in the eye and they have to deal with it, or it deals with them.
Oh, is this actually who you are?
Yeah, and then what happens to people is that because we don't even understand basic conflict resolution anymore, because now we have enough props to hide behind. You know, nowadays it's easy not to deal with something. It's easy to call something that's absurd as normal because we just have to find a name for it.
Yes.
You know, we're in the business of creating names for dysfunction. And because it has a name, it makes it okay.
Yeah.
You know, we just find a name for it. So, okay, the child is suffering from, you know, when we were growing up, look, I'm not dismissing conditions, all right? All I'm saying is that when we were growing up, we didn't have 15 million conditions that children could suffer from. So our parents could discipline us all right. You know, a child is this, you set him straight. But now they're like, oh no, but you can't touch the child because you could, you know, damage the child emotionally. So, okay, my question is, when do we stop creating names for everything? And that if a child twitches his eyes too much, they find a name for it.
Yeah.
And then if a child does that, and a lot of these things are under the layers of a child just being unruly, a child just not understanding structure, a child not getting discipline, and all of those things. And of course, when people hear the word discipline, everybody comes gun blazing and they want to fight you and they want to chop your head off. Look, I've always said something, and I believe in it 100%. Knowledge is forever changing. Look at the lights we're using now. Big ups to the Chinese. They just took something complex and made it simple.
Yeah.
Correct? Is that what they do? Because before, in a couple of years ago, for you to get a light like this, or you had to go buy a studio light and and all of that. Correct? So somebody looked and said, no, surely we can make this thing look easier. All right? Isn't that what they did? And they did that. Microphone, same thing, everything. But this is what I'm saying. Knowledge is changing in the world, but wisdom remains the same. Wisdom don't change. Your wisdom doesn't need an upgrade.
True.
Wisdom operates. And what is wisdom? Wisdom is timeless principles that work anywhere. They work under the ocean. They work in Africa. They work in Europe the same way. What you call wisdom is that irrespective of which environment, which individual engages it, the result is predictable. That's wisdom. Raising a child with structure and discipline is wisdom. It's not knowledge. It's not something that we can upgrade later. Nowadays we say, we're going to give a child timeout. Africans don't even know what timeout is until recently, thanks to the Europeans. Now, I'm not against timeout. Give your child timeout all you want.
Thanks to Super Nanny.
Yeah, the Super Nanny and the others, they brought in timeout. It's the American, the Western way. African people discipline their children in the ways that work for them. So now we're trying to do timeout, but timeout ain't us because it's not just our thing. And I believe that sometimes is the issue. Is that sometimes even civilization, technology is a form of civilization.
Yeah.
It comes and it erodes the cultures that have been in place. These communities were built on culture system. They were built on sets of not just necessarily beliefs, but ideologies. You know, and for example, as Africans, we've always been people of respect. Because we came from environments that foundationally our communities were built from respect.
Yes.
Now, the problem with that is that respect is old school. So what do we go for? Where do we go from there? Now you have issues of, what do you call it now? Of, if you want to call it war in homes, because there is no hierarchy. There's no who's there. The animals are still sensible enough not to upgrade. They keep a hierarchy.
True.
The hyena queen is always queen all day, every day. Nothing's going to change that. No, even if all the the male hyenas go into a protest and they do match and match, it won't change the system. It's like that. Lions have a hierarchy.
The lion is not going to eat grass.
No, the orders that they operate on have remained the same. We are the only people trying to get to the moon. And then we go there, so yeah, maybe there's life in the moon. What's wrong with the earth?
They do say that things are more because now the pendulum it's swung too far in the opposite direction because in the name of kind of not the
Evolution?
yes, of evolution of people rebelling against oppression and stuff like that. So now it went opposite. I don't want to maybe bring it up, but transgender, that issue. Now we've accepted it so much that now it's becoming too accepting.
Let's just say something. Controversial we might be forever. But the truth is, look, some things, there are no ways around it. You say what you got to say, right? This is my position. It's as simple as that.
You think it's...
There are some things that the moment you say, we're going to welcome that, you have accepted potential problem, because what we are trying to do is rewrite the whole history. That's what we're trying to do. So if you say, oh, there's a better way of doing this, oh, but there's a better way of doing that, oh, but there's a better way of doing this, hold on. Before we get excited about some new idea and something, we gotta ask, one, is it necessary? And two, do we need it? Or maybe that's the same thing. But three is that, can you really, is it sustainable? If we want to do something, how sustainable is that? And people don't understand. Life, human beings, we've remained here because some people before us practice a sustainable life. That's why we can come into a world that is real and functions. Families were built from families, and families will be built from families. It's like, for example, people who say, I don't want to have a child, so I'll have a dog or a cat, and then I'll treat it like a baby, give it a life cover, and do. My question is, how sustainable is that? Look, I'm not against it. Look, get all the pets you want to have in the world, but don't be calling your dog Andrew and Joseph and stuff like that. I mean, come on. My baby, my this, my... How sustainable is your baby? And when you grow old and you need help, how much of Andrew can help you get your breakfast set in the morning?
True.
Now, I'm not trying to see some things, and this is one of my issues, and it's important that we address the issue of, in society now, they've made it so hard to take a side. It's that they are pushing society into this neutral spot where everybody's opinion matters and everybody's opinion counts and everybody's opinion is relevant and everybody's opinion is important and everybody's concern must be addressed. There is no real world that works like that. And so when we start compromising, we're bringing ourselves to a point where what we are creating is not sustainable. If you say, oh, but this person has got rights. Look, rights have limits. And rights, the only way to balance rights is with responsibility. If you say this person has a right to do that, let's now look at that from, animals have what you call a circle of life. It's a circle of life. They don't control it. They respond to it. We are the only people that want to create our own circle of life.
Wait, what do you mean?
So in the animal kingdom, there's a circle of life, correct? Okay. So lions eat this, that guy eats that guy eats this guy, and this guy gives back to that one. And there's a cycle that sustains itself.
Okay, yes.
So you can call it a food chain, you can call it whatever. It's a cycle of life.
It never changes.
Yeah, it maintains itself. Vultures might look ugly to you, but there's something they do in the jungle. Lions might look nasty to you, but what they do is relevant. Hyenas might look creepy to you, or you might think they laugh funny, and there's something they do lions can't do.
Look at the birds that pick ticks off the animals. Imagine
it's called a symbiotic living where they coexist in such a way that life is sustainable.
And it doesn't change.
But we are the only living creature that, because we have such intelligence, and I think when you are too intelligent, you become egocentric. Because intelligence is good. But if intelligence is not balanced with humanity, if it's not balanced with love, we're going to create monsters. There are many people who are tyrants in the world, but they were smart people. They were powerful men. But there was no balance to that thing. Someone said, oh, Germany must be great again. That was Adolf Hitler. And Germans bought into the idea because they were improvised when Hitler started making all of this propaganda. It sounded like a good idea. Let's make Germany great. Until they say, let's make Germany the only country that rules everybody else, isn't it?
Yeah, his cause was, in the beginning, his cause was the righteous.
Everybody has a righteous cause in the beginning.
Idi Amin as well, for instance.
It's not the only... You see, that too far, you can see it in the beginning. The problem is that we want to wait until a pendulum swings too far. Oh, that's off the course, but it's already gained momentum. Now we can't stop it.
True.
How many things in our society today, even politicians who pass them into law,
Mugabe started out fairly okay.
So you're even talking extreme. You start mentioning Mugabe's and Idi Amin and so. You mean extreme? Let's even look at our present politicians who are passing policies that are not sustainable.
Yeah.
Let's take a good example. So when I moved to this country 17 years ago, I got a whole lot of shock in my life because social shocks. South Africa is blessed with plenty social shocks.
Yeah.
And one of them was that I heard from one of the people I knew back then who was a nurse and a teacher, and they said that schools have got condoms for primary school students and high school students back then. So I was in conversation with someone about 2 weeks ago, and I said, we need to ask a question. So it's been roughly 20 years or more that we've passed this bill, passed this whole law, whatever you want to call it, amendment of constitution, whatever it is that we've passed.
So you can say amendment of condoms.
Yeah. So we've now brought condoms to schools, all right? We've legalized abortion because, there's a girl who's going to get pregnant by some, gangster in her backyard and all of that. I get it. So now we've done that. Let's now paddle back. Let's go and look at the results from that time to this time. Is it working? And that is the problem with policies.
You're not changing.
Is that politicians come and they put policies in place because it's not about the people, it's about them, it's about their ego, it's about the office they occupy, it's about the name that they're trying to make for themselves. It's not about people, it's just about every other thing except what that office represents.
Yeah.
So my thing is, we've made condom accessible to, so some guy is getting contracts from the government to import condom from God knows where, and one guy hurriedly develops a condom factory for these things, and people are making money, but society continues to be impoverished by the same policies. So my question is, we've done that. Now 20 years after, can we say it's working? And at what point do we say it's not working? Let's go back to what was working before. It was working 30%. It's better than this one that's not working at all. You get what I'm saying? There is no system without a flaw, but the issue is that when you are sitting with flawed system, you gotta find the one that's most effective, the one that's most compatible with people. Not just because you and I can make policies. No, you have to look at things practically. And there are many, in this nation alone, we can list countless number of all these amendments and laws and bills that are passed that years later, for example, another one of those is the pass rate, matric pass rate. The matric pass rate it's been dropping year after year after year to accommodate, because the government and the department doesn't want to look like they're failing. So what have they done? So let's accommodate people. They say, oh no. Then we started with the stories of previously disadvantaged people. The black people who didn't have good schools to go to, and they were schooling under the tree, and they had to cross 10 rivers to get to school. So it's difficult for them. They didn't have sanitary pads, so they missed school many times. So we come up with all sorts of things to say, okay, the reason why they aren't doing well is because of all this social ill. So let's lower the pass rate so that more students can pass. But the problem is, you have not only lowered the pass rate, you have lowered what their brain is required to do to hit its maximum potential. So now, pass rate is at 30%, I believe. Now, you tell me, if someone paid you 30% of your salary, would that be considered fair? No. This is my argument.
It makes sense.
If I'm president of any country, and the Minister of Education tells me that the pass rate is 30%, I say, okay, cool. I'll pay you 30% of your salary. Let's see how that goes well for you.
I saw that video now of the learner's license. It was now digital, but they're saying the pass rate that so many that I think it's only 15% pass rate that people are having, and people are complaining because now they said that they count because there's so much corruption. The previous question is the physical ones. In the government, there was so much corruption and of the papers being sold and stuff like that. So to counter that, they've now made everything digital. But now
people are failing.
Too many people are failing.
Too many people are
50% of people that take the license, they are failing.
Welcome to the UK. In the UK, you fail more than you pass. You have no idea. I've got a friend who's got. My friend is in the UK. He's got a car parked in his driveway, but him and his wife don't have license because he's failed the learners like 7 times.
No freaking
He
way.
said he's even gotten to the point. And I said, oh, he was actually writing the test 2 weeks ago when he called me a day before. He's like, I didn't even tell my wife, so that
No
if I
way.
fail, it will not be a conversation
Yeah,
at home. He said, but
just
if
a
I
normal-
pass, then I'll just surprise her and say, well, I passed.
But now
Yeah.
the thing is, in order that's their way of dealing with the corruption in the company. So they won't address the corruption. They will just now create a whole different system.
You cannot digitize something in order for you to curb corruption. Corruption is a decay. So let's explain this from a human perspective. If you've got what they call gangrene, so gangrene is when
On the
your
leg,
like your toe starts turning purple, black. You can't treat it. Once the toe turns that color,
has to be cut off.
you take a chopper and you chop the brother off to save the rest of the leg. It's not cruelty. That's just the next thing to do. Now, when a system is corrupt, you don't fix it by saying, oh, okay, you know what? We're just going to infuse it with a lot of blood. It's dead. The cells are gone. Putting blood in there is not going to bring life back to dead cells.
Oh yeah, true,
So you see the same with the Home Affairs, you see with the Department of Health, Education, the list goes on and on and on. And the problem is every year corruption gets intensified in different departments. Why? The system is so rotten that even the government, even though they know what to do, they do not have the bravery to do it. Because if you want to fix something, you chop it off. It's broken, it's messed up, you take it off. And if you have to, for example, look, I'm not against DGs, but they say departments are corrupt, and there's a DG sitting there.
Those DGs on.
I use high schools as example. All right, this is to prove the fact that one person can make a difference. All right, this idea that one person can't do much. Hold on, you bring in a school principal to a school, high school, their pass rate is 20%, 10%, horrible pass rate. Okay, and this guy comes in and says, "Not on my watch," and he says, "We're fixing this." And he demands the teachers for extra time. Ask them for those who want to volunteer. Himself says, you know what, I can teach 2 subjects, I'm going to take that. And he begins to labor with the grade 10 students. So he says, you know what, grade 12 is too late. If you don't know your story by now, can't do much about you. But then they start with grade 11s and grade 10. And they start doing extra classes. He starts sitting the teachers down. He insists on certain level of performance. Insists that every child must get this kind of scores. And he puts all that effort in. Oftentimes when these principals do this, they don't get extra funding from government. Because it's not money that fixes things like that. It's a good heart that fixes it. When government starts making something digital in order to curb corruption, no, that's just being corrupted even more.
True.
Because you're putting money in a hole and you're expecting that it's going to hold. No, it doesn't. It just goes back into the black hole there and you don't see any of it. So, but then we know what happens. Is that 2 years later, so we spent 350 million rand digitizing the drivers, what. Except it has not changed anything. It has not removed the corrupt people in the system. And more people are even failing now, which even now begs the need for more corruption because, well, if 15 or 20 or 30% more people are failing, guess what they're going to do? They're going to find someone to pay and say, you know what, tweak the system and get me a pass, please, because I got to move on with my life. I was with I called a friend of mine today. He applied for a permanent residence, all right? And then he gets declined. So I called him, he was at VFS. And he said to me, no, I was declined. So I asked him, what did they say? They said that his permit, which is his work permit or business permit, is fraudulent. That's the reason why they didn't give him a PR. Now, my question is, if it's fraudulent, are you not supposed to deport him?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say, okay, well, he's illegal in the country. So he's not appealing his fraudulent whatever. He's actually appealing the fact that you declined. But I know that because a lot of people will apply for PR. That's what they do. First, they decline you. Either it's legit or not. They'll just first give you a no.
To pay charge. Huh?
Yeah, no, it's not about that. They make more money because then you have to go and reapply, correct?
Okay.
Reapply means you got to pay more, isn't it? You got to pay for that, pay for doctors, this, pay for that letter, pay for this thing and whatever. Now, Home Affairs will say, no, well, we don't get any of that money because, well, but all the bodies affiliated with you guys are benefiting from it. My problem is, even if you look at the issues around illegal foreign nationals in South Africa, the problem is not the illegal foreign nationals in country. The problem is the border and the problem is the Home Affairs.
Yes.
And we have to put, you see, it's just that the people who protest, I understand where they're protesting from. Because they're protesting from the place of power. This is what we can control. So we protest from here. But you can't fix a rotten thing,
Yes.
all right, from the feet.
Of course.
The rot is coming from here.
Right there.
And
on the top.
now, I find it very painful that thousands of people can protest that illegal foreign nationals go back to their country, all right? Even though most of them is not their fault that they're illegal. But we will not protest against a government that's failing.
And that's where the
Like,
problem is.
I have to ask myself a question. That if thousands of people can actually get out of their homes and beat some shield and dance around and protest and say, we're not happy with illegal whatever taking over, why can't we do the same for the Department of Health? Why can't we do that for education? Why can't we do that for every other department that is rotten in the country that can't fix anything?
If the community is able to go in burn down a Somalian shop, why can't they go to the drug house and burn down the drug house also?
No, see, because we are schooled wrong. We are schooled in the business of, if you are frustrated, find the weakest person
True, actually.
and swing at him. All right? That is what you call a coward. We have been programmed to be cowardice in our way of doing things. So we say we are militant. Oh, I remember one of those guys who is one of the faces of the march, who was speaking to a German lady, and she said she moved to South Africa in 1980s. He said, oh, you are one of us. He gave her a hug. I'm like, we got a problem. Seriously, we have a problem. We have a problem because I am not judging him. What I'm saying is that he does not even know what he represents. That's what I'm saying. Because if you know what you represent, that would not have happened. Because when you know what you represent, you are consistent in your approach. But when you have double standard, you don't have an identity. Let's just be honest. People with double standard got zero identity. A man of identity doesn't have double standard. He has one standard.
Yeah.
And these issues are really issues in society. But I think it's just that people are frustrated. So when you're frustrated, you just lash out on the weakest guy in the bunch. Because he can't fight back. So we take it off on him. But the problem is that the weakest guy doesn't run the land.
It's at the top, man. It's at the top.
And because he does not run the land, it will not fix any problem. In fact, I remember somebody saying, oh, so now you've chased them home. How many of you have gotten jobs? And these are real things. And these are locals saying that. But of course, we want to rubbish them. Am I saying there's no merit in the protest? I'm not saying that. There is some merit in it. And I'm one of those who will believe, I agree. If people are not legal, for their good and for the good of the locals, send them home. Let them go home. Because if you're here, you're not legal, you can't build a life. Believe it or not, you can't. You don't have papers. What are you going to do with yourself? Which day are you going to get a proper job or start a proper business? How do you register a business if you don't have papers? How can you grow that business? How can you get credit? How can you buy a house? How can you buy a car? How can you do anything if you have no papers? So some people are staying here. It's good. Let them go home and rebuild their lives. All right?
And come back legally.
Yes, but don't make it look like everyone is your problem. No. The biggest problem in this country is the government.
It's a government.
The biggest enemy of the people in this land is not some guy from Malawi. No, it's not. No. And this might sound political. It's not political because the issue sometimes is that when we talk about the truth, people say it's political. But that's just life. We're talking about life here. And those are real issues that needs to be addressed. And that's why my submission is you can't say a system is wrong and then, let's just digitize it. Because by digitizing it, we'll cut out corruption. No. You set the SIU into it. You let them investigate the place and come out to you and give you info because it's easy to find these people. You see, it's easy to find corrupt people.
Thank you, Madlanga.
It's so easy to find them. If you go into the Home Affairs and you really want to fish out all the rotten eggs, can I tell you something? If you put 50 eggs in a basket and there are 2 rotten eggs in there, how hard is it to find them?
No, that's you want. To find it. That's the thing.
No, if you start smelling them one after the other, you'll figure out which one's rotten.
Yes.
But if you don't want to find it because you like the arrangement of the eggs, because they look so cute and pretty, so we're going to leave them and say, you know what we're going to do is that we're just going to buy some extra perfumes, mix them into the mix so that the rottenness doesn't smell so bad, so that the room can have a nice aroma. No. We don't need to spend money on air fresheners. What we need to do is go and find the 2 eggs that are rotten in the back. Take them out so we got fresh eggs. But what we do is that we leave the rotten eggs in there, and we say, let's go and spend some tender money,
Yeah, boy.
350 million rand, to buy air fresheners from China, because these air fresheners, they know how to target the rottenness. They'll go and find it there and just, they will neutralize it.
We borrowed $27 million or something from these world banks and whatever to fix infrastructure. How?
Infrastructure. The government, you know what? If I start doing politics, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Man, hey, politics.
Seriously, I'm going to get myself in trouble. I'm just going
frustrating you.
I'm just going to say, you know what? The hope is that I think the issue is actually not bad people leading us, but that good people will not stand up.
Yes.
I think sometimes when tyrants rule, it's not because everybody is a tyrant.
Yeah.
It's because good people are quiet.
And the problem with politics also is that once these guys are not in favor anymore, like you are now not minister anymore and you're not in favor of whoever's in charge, now you want to suddenly start talking. You should have been talking that time already.
I think that...
And risk your life if it means like you're going to be a whistleblower who's going to die for your cause. Those are politicians that we want to have.
I don't think we need politicians.
We don't need politicians.
I think we need people persons. Yes. We need people. We need individuals who care about people.
Patriotic people.
People who understand, one, what they represent. And they're willing to... there's something about you can't leave. Sorry, is that the right way? You can't leave for something you're not willing to die for? Yeah, that's the way to go. You understand? So, and we don't have... Not that we don't have them, but the top places is deficient of such people. And I think it's because sometimes evil can be so overwhelming that good people find it sort of waste of time or too much of a risk.
Too much of a risk, I
think. To be the guy who dips your head into muddy waters and hopefully you can calm the waters down and separate the mud from clean water. But the truth is this: society decays when good people keep quiet.
Yeah.
And the fact is that when our societies are bad, while we can point at leadership, bad people in positions of power who brought us there, we must also say the people who kept quiet while they were paddling us there, they are also to blame. And I believe in society that speaks, a society that shouts, and a society that acts.
It's a culture
that is missing within our society. I think I said that some time ago. I said
accountability
in a community where there is, what do you call that? 16,000 people, and then you got 16 gangsters there, drug dealers. I mean, we're talking, it's 1,000 to every one of you.
That is too many.
So my question is, how many guns do you have, and how many bullets are in that gun to take out 1,000 people each? But the issue is that we will not stand and say this. So now, and it's also because we have, what's that word now? We were sold a lie. One of the lies we were sold is politicians did very well at this one. And they sold us a lie to believe that all your responsibility is to vote somebody into office. And then he will do the rest. So we became voters. We became voters with no voices. All we have is thumbs and fingers to thumbprint on which political party we think will echo our sentiments. And we became less involved in the matters of our own lives. And when Parliament is passing laws, how many South Africans sit down and say, hold on,
what's going on?
How is this going to benefit the nation long term? So the Parliament can pass whatever it wants to pass. Because Parliament just has to think and say, well, we did some consultation. With who? Consultation with who? And all these imaginary consultations that are done, and before you know it, bam, bam, some is passed. Because democracy was created on the premise of the people shall govern. But it's not. It's a package that says it looks like you're in charge, but you're not in charge. It's a good way to put that is the CEO of a company is the boss, but he's a figurehead. So on paper, he is the big shot. In the running system, he's not. Why? Because there's a bunch of guys called a board.
Illuminati.
No name men. Pick and pay, no name.
No face.
And they decide who becomes what.
Yeah, of course.
So Mr. CEO either has to dance into their tune or he gets fired.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be a guy to steer a boat in a certain direction and you need courage to do so, and you got these guys behind you who are spineless telling you, you know what, it's not what they're for, just let's keep steering the boat. You know, as long as dividend is being paid to the guys and we are getting all the whatever. I find it very strange how companies close down and all the big guys get money and all the poor guys get broke more.
Yeah.
In 2008, there was a global financial crisis. Guess what? All the guys who created the crisis walked away with loads of money. And all the people who gave them the money lost their homes, lost their marriages, lost their jobs, lost everything. And there is no system of accountability.
Yeah.
Why? Because the people gave their power to a minority. And I think that people must never do that. I think that we need to re-educate our people that people keep their power. Just because I thumped for your political party does not mean I don't have the power. Power lies here.
I guess it comes back to the evolution of technology as well, yeah? That we become so dependent on the Bezos and...
It's because it's easier.
Implementing...
It's easier to give responsibility to others than to take responsibility yourself.
True.
Look at it this way. It is easier to have a nanny take care of your child than for you to spend the whole day telling the child to sit, telling the child to stand up, telling him to eat up his food, and telling him to clean up after himself, and telling him to do that and not do that, and yell. And it's easier to get someone. So delegation is one of the best attributes or worst attribute of human beings. We delegate very well. So we delegate everything until we delegate our future.
Yeah.
It's become lazy in that sense because we were talking about that because at the high school that we went to, they sent out a thingy that all of us alumni and just people in the area can come and help clean up the school because there is people that work there, but it's not enough. So they put out that for the whole on Facebook and it had loads of reactions, but no one pitched, no one came up. But then people want to still complain and say the school is dirty, but no one is willing to show up.
You see, this is part of what we're talking about. When I was growing up, our schools were never dirty. We had no cleaner. And the government did not allocate resources to clean the school.
Japan doesn't have bins.
How does it clean students? Let me tell you guys something. Okay, you know, we all grew up in different parts of Africa. Where I grew up, every term, you brought brooms to school. Every student. We didn't bring stationaries. Yours probably is you stuck yourself. You brought a broom to school. You brought a hoe. You brought a machete. Every student is required to bring all of that. Okay, and you brought. Okay, you guys don't even know what that is called. Cane. You know what a cane is? Not a sugar cane.
The stick.
Yeah, the stick in which they will beat you when you come late. You are required to bring two. So you bring.
You bring your own. Bring your own.
You bring your own. Bring and bribe.
Like when your dad wear that.
Bring and roast.
Or fix the belt.
Yeah, exactly. So what we did was every student who came late in that term. Oh no, you already signed up for cleaning. Oh no, seriously, you come late to school. You signed up for cleaning. You decided today you're not going to be a student. You're going to be a cleaner. If you clean one day, you come early tomorrow.
True.
No, simple as that. This is part of the issues of discipline and how it helps build society. The reason why your school is having a problem of trash is that there are some teenagers who do not understand that it's their responsibility to clean.
Yes.
Now, the teachers can't enforce it because they themselves don't even know why they should enforce it. The principal is absolutely clueless or weak. Now, they expect old students, old alumni, to leave their jobs, okay, and come and clean a school that a 17 or a 16-year-old can't clean.
True.
I don't get it. Sometimes I see this happen. A man has got teenage sons, 18, 17, 16, but he's washing his car on a Sunday evening. I'm confused. I see a man pushing a lawnmower, but he's got teenage boys at home. And what are they doing? They're watching television that he paid for.
Yeah.
They're watching Netflix that their father pays subscription for. Papa is the one pushing the lawnmower outside. You gotta be kidding me. Like, let me say something. You cannot raise children that will contribute to the development of society if you did not burden them with responsibilities called chores. And anybody can disagree with me and say, yeah, but
That's
you know,
important.
I'm going to tell you, the way to build the next generation is burden them with chores.
Yeah.
I see, I don't understand. When I was 13, we were doing dishes, we were mopping, we were fetching water, we were doing everything. Oh, by the way, what we did when we were growing up, if some Europeans have come, they will have called it child abuse, child labor.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that the children need to get paid for the chores?
Absolutely not.
Not,
do they pay for the food they eat?
yeah. Not
Do
really.
they pay rent?
But,
they do dishes and then there's like the one payment for like 7 rand for washing dishes.
but
Yeah.
there's also a study that says that kids who grew up doing chores are actually the ones who become more successful
Of
in
course.
life.
It's simple. Teach a child to do chores. There's a lot of lessons a child learns by doing chores. One of them is responsibility. Another is respect. Respect for themselves, respect for the work they do, respect for their contribution to that home.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Another is respect for others. Because now when you see someone sweating, you know what it means to break a sweat.
Yes.
Okay? 3, value for your time. When my daughter does dishes and she spends 2 hours doing it and she's exhausted and she sits, now she knows next I want to do those dishes in an hour. Look, those are things you can't teach your child. Chores will teach children a whole lot of lessons that parents will not have the opportunity or time to teach them while they are with you. And I don't understand why in a school, they say school is dirty. And you got 500 students in the school. When we were going, in fact, there were times when if nobody was coming late, all of us were dodging the coming late. We all came early. You just see that you have a break. When you have your normal break, your teacher lines you guys out. It's not, you're going to have 15 minutes of the 30 minutes. And your first 15 minutes, you're picking trash. They will divide the entire school into little pots. Every classroom has got a side they must go to. You pick everything there except the grass and the soil. Those are the only things you will leave there. You pick everything, you know where you're taking it to? To the jolly bin.
Yeah.
That school can be cleaned in 30 minutes. Just by some principal coming out and saying, chop, all of you. Now, please explain to me, which parent is going to come back tomorrow to say, you made my child clean the school. Who made the school dirty?
Yeah. Like, for instance, there was something that I did in grade 8. I was a bit, I was not naughty on school, but like I was that little bit of mischief, you know? And I wrote on the desk with Tipp-Ex, right? Because this girl was using Tipp-Ex and then it spilled on the desk and then I was now lastig and then I wrote there on the desk, right? My punishment, it was during the the exam time. Like, my punishment came after, like, I did what I did and then exam time. My punishment was after every exam for, I think, like the first few weeks of exam, my punishment was to go with the teacher, pick out the desks that I had to sandpaper. People were not naughty on school when they saw that. Because after that, like, every child who was naughty and did something, it was the sandpaper of the desk. So embarrassing.
So it helps you understand that if you don't want to sandpaper desks, you just don't write on them.
You just don't write on them.
And we have to.
You don't do anything naughty that's gonna get you into.
But nowadays, you know, you're like, you know, children get first and second and third and everlasting warnings. You know, it's like, you know, you're gonna. I believe, particularly younger kids, if you keep your word, and your word is consistent, you create structure in their lives. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say that when they don't do something, something's going to happen to them, let it happen to them. And maintain that. Now, I believe if the teenagers of today are the ones who can keep their schools clean, when he becomes municipal manager, what is he going to do? Because that's what we don't know. There are kids in school now loafing around and playing games. Who's going to become the CFO tomorrow of the city of Cape Town?
Yeah.
But all he does now, uses all his money to buy bumpies. And when he becomes CFO, he's going to use the same money to buy other useless stuff that is just an advanced measure of a bumpy.
Or he's going to give the tenders to his friends who are not going to clean or...
We just need to have a society that believes that it is our responsibility collectively to build society. It's not the responsibility of some leader. It's not the responsibility of some politician. No, it's not. It's everybody's baby.
Yes.
And if you look at villages in Africa, that's how they did it. The chief did not run the village.
Yes.
He had oversight of the village, but the village functioned with everybody in it. Villages don't have street cleaners. You never go to a village and find it dirty.
Just keep your space clean.
Everybody cleans their little corner. And that way, because I'm cleaning mine and you're cleaning yours, it all looks the same. It looks nice.
It's like that in Singapore as well. They say that's how
you're going too far. Go to Zanin. Go to Zanin.
Can't even chew gum in Singapore.
Go to
They
Zanin.
look at it as the outside is. They look at it as if it's inside their own house. So that's why they don't. You won't throw something in your own house, and that's how.
One day we were traveling. We were driving, and there were guys in front of
us.
us. And this guy's throwing out bottles of Savannah from the car.
Yeah.
And it's all shattering on the ground. And you
imagine.
You're looking with, I don't even know if there's English for such a feeling. I don't think there's an English word for such a feeling. It is ridiculous. And to see people do that, not because they don't know it's wrong. That's the issue. But because they didn't make him pick up the bottles from day one.
Yes.
If someone made him pick up bottles,
and even if
made him pick up trash in high school,
the law enforcement or the police is driving behind him, they're not gonna stop him.
Just for your information, the guy throwing the Savannah bottle might be a law enforcement off duty.
Actually.
So that has got nothing to do.
Makes no sense, man.
I think that society needs to we need to build a society where everybody
self-respect,
where everybody is a law enforcement. Everybody is a law enforcement.
Yeah.
And the first place to enforce law is yourself. You enforce law on you.
Yes.
That's the first law. When I see police officers drive recklessly, and how do you enforce anything when you're doing just How does a law enforcement officer who's speeding past a robot just before it turns red and it's not going, it's only going to KFC to buy lunch, all right? And he does that. How do you enforce? Because it's a psychological thing.
Yes.
That you cannot enforce what you don't live by.
Yes. Tunde, I was going to Mfuleni and I used that back road, not Mfuleni to Fountain Village. I used that back road that passed through Mfuleni.
Yeah.
Police officers were the ones that were standing. That road is skinny. It's narrow, that road. The police car was standing there talking to someone they're not even parked to the side of the road.
He's the police officer.
Right there in the middle of the road where it's causing traffic both ways. I'm like,
you guys forget that what happens when people don't understand responsibility is that they become the law rather than them, enforcing the law. They become the law themselves. And they just become lawless. Just do whatever they like. We like to stretch our muscles.
It's out of hand.
The days when uniform meant service.
When we used to.
Long time. Now we're talking uniform means power.
We used to respect them.
You walk, you see a police officer come behind you at the queue and he just walks past you because he has the right to go and pay first before you, because he's wearing uniform,
They're right behind you. You're scared of them actually instead of actually feeling more safe.
Yeah, I think there isn't any of that anymore. But look, I think that in respect of technology, there has to be the need to return back to a place where life is a lot simpler. And it's human beings that complicate life. Life's always been simple.
Yeah.
And that we remember that. And the reason why most people want a lot of things in their lives is because their lives are complicated or their thinking is complicated. If I don't have that, then I'm not complicated. If that's not there, it's not right. And if you don't have that, you don't have this. And we create all these things that we think our lives must include in order for it to be what it should be. And that's why the other day I was talking and people don't necessarily agree with me on it, on the fact that I don't like watching on YouTube videos of, I slept in one of the most expensive hotels in the world, and I went on one of the most expensive cruise liner. Now, you see, it's the same as top billing. And I'm not taking a jab at top billing or anything. No.
Yeah,
Hear me out.
I love this top billing.
Yeah. hear me out, it's just the fact that what does it do to an average person? Makes them feel like they're not anywhere. Makes them feel like that's the goal. But that's not a goal.
Okay.
It's not. And the guys there wouldn't tell you it's not a goal because they paid too much a price to get there, so they got to make you think it's everything. And it's not. And that there are people who have a lot more meaningful life. Recently, someone in South Africa who's popular, who mentioned his name, was talking about how he was happier when he was poorer than now that he's got money. Well, that's not news. Okay? R. Kelly sang, I wish, I wish, I wish. He warned all of you, but no one listened. Okay, he's in jail himself now, but anyway, it's just that thing. You all look at me and say, oh, yes, you've been blessed, but you don't see the inside of my unhappiness. And it's because we are inside.
Sounds like a song right there.
But it is.
It is a song.
It is a song. You don't see the inside of my unhappiness. Boy, that's what it is. Heavy like a ton.
I wish, yeah, true,
Yes.
true.
Now, the thing is, it's the same as the movie In Pursuit of Happiness, just the title of the movie. So we pursuing something that keeps shifting instead of embracing that which is there now. Happiness is not a place. Happiness is a choice. People are not happy because they got to somewhere. I can tell you, if your happiness is a place, I guarantee you it's a short-lived one. It doesn't last long.
Yeah.
Someone wins the lotto. Yeah. You won't believe it for the first few weeks. And then later it was certain that he's a millionaire now. Then you start spending the money like he's a boss. And then he'll become broke later. Correct? Because the truth is, if we all see our lives as, oh, if I get here, I'll be, no. And that's my problem with those shows. They make you see all of these dreams that they want you to pursue. And of course, that's the whole concept. The way to build a faithful slave is to sell him a dream of freedom. Correct? Instead of teaching him that he's free now.
Explain that.
Oh, hold on. The way for you to raise and indoctrinate a dedicated slave, a slave that will properly slave for you, is you dangle the carrot of freedom in front of him and say, if you labor for me for 7 years hard,
oh yes,
I'll make you a free man.
Spartacus.
Exactly. So it's the concept
Gladiator as well.
And if you look at our world, this is a slave trade, guys. They're just not selling people in the way they used to do. You see, now it's advanced. They've made it sophisticated. So it doesn't look like slave trade. But it is.
It is.
You sign a contract with a company, they say you're employed. But you're not employed, you've been bought. You got no freedom, you got nothing, you don't have a life. They use you the way they want and how they want and when they want. And well, to make your own life harder, you then go and buy something on credit. You buy a car on credit, you buy this on credit, and then now you're a slave to many masters. Slave to that guy, slave to this one, slave to that one. So now you can't leave your job, you can't do anything. Because if you do, well, your life's over.
Hey, don't forget, you still got a car to pay.
Yeah, of course. Those are reminders. And the thing is,
20-year
first and foremost, a man must find freedom where he is. So that you don't spend your whole life chasing one. You have to find moments of freedom in your daily life. Moments of meaning in your daily life. Moments of happiness in your daily life. No matter how crappy your life is, there is still moments of meaning inside. No matter how miserable a life is, there is still a moment of value in it. And I think that we don't live there. And I don't think top billing helps us any better. I don't think that all these shows help us any better. I'm not against them. I'm just saying, if a guy sits there and he's watching a house that's 12.5 million rand or 24 million rand or 75 million rand or 120 million rand with a Rolls Royce that never leaves the garage packed in there, and how much is a Rolls Royce? Upwards of 30 million. And you sitting there and the only Rolls Royce you've got is your shoe that's worn out. And you think that your life is miserable. And the picture that the social economist paints is a system that your life is crappy and you gotta work hard to become what I am, so that, look, there's this guy, I don't want to spin, but I know the guy who interviews billionaires and millionaires and all of that. Look, it's fantastic because he's trying to find out what's your secret. Let's teach it to other people. But my question is it always about the money? Does money make life meaningful? No, I'm not deceived. Anyone who says money is nothing is lying to himself. Anyone who says money is everything has been fooled.
Yeah.
Money is something. It's not nothing and it's not everything.
Not everything.
Money is something. So I'm not going to sit here and say, no. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's something called contentment. The ability to find peace in chaos. The ability to see good in every bad situation. The ability to see that there was an advantage even within the structure of your disadvantage. There is something. Have you guys, I don't know about you. Look, I reminisce on these things. 80s, 70s, 60s, marriages work better than they do now.
Yeah.
They had less gadget, less money.
Less divorces.
Our parents had less money, but they were happy. I remember growing up in an area where hardly anybody had a car. Hardly.
Yeah, true.
If your dad had a car, or you were balling. We grew up in a time when none of those things were there.
And safer.
But are you kidding me? Life was meaningful. We have memories of that life.
We were not hurting
that none of us can trade for what our kids have now.
We were not hurting each other.
But today, that's the problem. Because now when we want more, someone's got to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody needs to become the victim of your dreams. Because that's the thing. When men dream, they create victims.
Shallow dreams.
Am I saying that people should not dream? Please dream all you want to. All I'm saying is that when you want your dream so bad, you will create victims along the way. And a lot of people have done that. Sportsmen, businessmen, politicians. People want their dreams so bad
Sacrifice something.
that someone gets slaughtered so you get up. Someone's got to fall so you can rise. Someone's got to cry so you can be happy. That's my problem. And that is because you are fixated on something so bad that you will do whatever it takes because you've figured out or you've concluded your life is meaningless without it. That until you have it, you don't. It's like a lady who's determined that the one she wants to date is a married man. Like there are so many single, miserable guys out there looking for someone to love them. So you're telling me of all of the millions of men that are single, it's the one that's got a ring on his finger that is of your interest. You see, men, same story. He's chasing after a woman that's not his. What, like, do you know how many single men are praying for someone right now? And that is a cycle where people get fixated. And look, let me say something. And this might sound a little bit too offish for some people. The soul of a human being is so susceptible to poisoning. The soul of a human being is fragile. You see, the body of a human being is strong. The spirit of a human being is unbreakable, but the soul is horribly fragile. The soul of a person is so fragile and easily manipulated that if you see a person who's miserable, forget about his body, forget about his spirit. It is soul that's miserable. Misery lies there. And it's because it's the soul that likes to dream. So it's the one living in dreamland all the time. You know, and then he envisions it. Now he's concluded, until I get there, my life has no meaning. I am not saying people should not pursue a better life. Please do. But find moments of meaning
in the present.
Right where you are. Because your life can never be devoid of meaning, no matter how miserable. I mean, Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years. How did he survive it? We got to ask this question. A guy goes to solitary confinement for 21 days. How does he make it out without losing his mind? He finds something. He's in a dark place. There's nothing but walls. But he finds a little happy place where he can find meaning. And I'm saying that people dream all you want, but please regulate your dream. Let your dream not be based on somebody who bought a car. You know, some people have dreams only because some people they don't like have achieved something. So your life was fine. And then you went to a school reunion, which I hate so much. School reunion, class of 95. Class of 95. You see, me, I would never attend a school reunion.
That thing.
And it's not because I'm afraid of jealousy. It's because I know my soul. The soul of a man, if you love your soul, there are things you don't expose your soul to. You know, if you want peace, there are things you don't expose yourself to. Because it's the kind of things that impacts on people's lives, corrupts them, and then makes them corrupted human beings. And then 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, you've done things you're not proud of. And nothing shocks me like when I start seeing people come out of the closet and start telling you how horrible something they've done and they want to apologize. But see, apology is fine, and I respect that. But what's done's done. Someone's life has been impacted forever.
And you want to compare yourselves there at the reunion?
Oh, of course, no, because that's what they're all doing. Bro.
Who I am. Oh my God.
Reunion is about
It's such a
who's got
stupid
the best
thing.
ride,
Yeah.
who turned out well, and who didn't turn out well.
I remember me. I used to be that geeky.
Yeah, now I'm the CEO. Now
Didn't
look
have
at you.
friends.
You were the talk of the school, and look at you now. You're a security guard, huh? and I'm just better than you now, isn't it?
Yeah.
How
Guys,
miserable
we have
is
to
that?
cut it. Yo.
It's because people don't find meaning in their lives, and I think that finding meaning is intentional. It's not something you just don't see it. It's like mining for gold. You don't walk around and you see gold littered everywhere on the road. If you're looking for crude oil, you don't say, they're just flowing like a river. No, you gotta dig and dig and dig until you finally get it. It's the same thing. One has to be intentional about finding meaning in their lives. That is to tell yourself, my life cannot be so miserable that there isn't something to be thankful about. And I believe that gratitude is one of the first ways to
very
finding
important.
meaning
Very
in life.
important.
I remember talking to a friend of mine. I was in his place, and his brother came to visit, and his brother was leaving. And I said, "Hey, hope you have a wonderful weekend." He looks back and says, "Wonderful weekend? How can you have a wonderful weekend when there's no money?" And he talks about those things. And I said to him, "Is that so?" I said, "But you have a roof over your head." He says, "Yes." "You got food to eat?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You got a car that you drive?" I said, "You understand that where you are right now is somebody else's dream?"
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you see, that's always something that's very hard for us to believe. Is that the life you have right now is the dream of someone else.
Yeah.
Sometimes even your own dream. Sometimes you, like for me, I can speak for myself now, is I didn't realize that I have achieved. I said, okay, I'm at 27 or at 25, I want to have achieved this. And then when I got there, it was like, okay, it was just nothing. It's just, okay, I was just supposed to achieve that. But I wasn't even grateful for what I had. And I didn't even realize that it was my dream to be there at that point. But when I got there, it was like it was nothing.
But do you know why? The reason for that is what you call adaptation. You adjust. Your taste buds sort of make adjustments each time. That when you start eating caviar, you almost think you're eating just nothing else. No, I'm not saying I've never eaten caviar. It just sounds fancy. It's just a French word. But anyways, the concept is that intentional gratitude is what grounds people. And the only way you can be grateful is not to see where you are, but to see where you came from. And that means you cannot afford to lose sight of where you come from, how you got there. Because if you forget, because look, the thing about life is that once you start becoming some sort of measure of success or whatever in your life, your friend circles can also change. So you start mingling with people who are good at pretending that they were never broke. You meet those guys, they've always been posh their whole life and all of that. So they meet you and you force now to upgrade yourself. So you guys don't talk about car C anymore. You guys don't talk about, now we talk about, fancy stuff, shoes with red sole and all those kind of lousy nonsense. We do all of those kind of things. So that when you achieve something meaningful, you're not even able to see that it's meaningful. Because the only way you can measure your distance in life is in view of where you came from. But we don't do that because we become obsessed with where we're going. So because where we're going is our obsession, we are looking at the distance between where I am and where I want to go. And it's because it's so far, I don't appreciate where I am. Whereas the only way to appreciate where I am is to look at where I'm coming from. So while all your folks and friends and family members and your colleagues are looking at their lives based on where they're going, you got to learn how to look at your life for where you're coming from. Some people came from a life of one shoe. I remember when I was a teenager, I didn't have a shoe. I had a sandal. So when I went to church and I had to wear a suit, I only had one pant. I would never forget I had one pant. I had one pant and one blazer. It wasn't even about if the colors matched. So who cares? You had one shoe, you put it on. Everything I owned then was secondhand. I never bought anything brand new. So my shoe was a sandal.
Sandals.
So I used to wear the color of the shoe to make it look like a shoe. So when I put it on, if you're looking at it from a distance, because it was brown and my socks was brown, it's wearing shoes. Except when you come close, you find that it's not a shoe, it's a sandal. And then you come from that place and you are somewhere else in life. And it's easy to say, but I'm not wearing, but hold on, not what you don't have, but what you have in view of where you came from. And I think a lot of people don't get, and I think that even generosity
Guys, we have
only
to.
flows from the place of gratitude.
Yeah.
You cannot be generous. Most people who make it in life,
True.
they actually they oppress others with what they have. Now they want to tell all their friends how crappy their lives are. And because you are not, if you are grateful, generosity is bred from the place of gratitude. Grateful people are generous people. You know why? Because you found something to be thankful for. You realize how privileged you are, and how you ought to. Now you feel somebody else's trouble or pain, and you now want to channel some sort of. I feel we live in a society where everybody thinks the idea of making it is so flaunted. And the idea of making it in this world is so that you can make somebody else's burden just a little lighter. Somebody else. But